Chocolatiers. Welcome back to Octoberfest 2025. This is the month where sleep is dangerous and nightmares never die. And so tonight we're taking Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child, for size. It's the one that took the franchise to darker, weirder, and more grotesque places than it's ever been before. By 1989, Freddy Krueger was more than a movie monster. He was an icon. He had lunchboxes, toys, even his own hotline. So naturally, New Line Cinema wanted to keep the dream train rolling, but the Dream Child is where the franchise started turning its claws inward, literally and thematically. This movie picks up right after the Dream Master. Alice, the survivor from part 4, has somehow found peace. She's working, she's got a boyfriend, and she's actually sleeping again. But in true Elm Street fashion, peace is just the calm before the bloodbath, because we all know Freddy never dies. She starts having disturbing dreams, dark gothic ones filled with creepy nuns, shadowy hallways, and a sense that something is watching her from within. Turns out, she's pregnant. And somehow, Freddy is using her unborn child to return from the dead and start killing again. Yes, this one goes deep into that body horror and nightmare logic. The idea is that Freddy is feeding through the baby's dreams, using that child as a gateway back to the real world. It's very gross, it's weird, and it's surprisingly pretty layered. Lisa Wilcox returns as Alice, and honestly, she's the glue that holds the sequel together. Her performance is more mature, more grounded, and she's been through hell already, and now she's dealing with this trauma of motherhood and literal supernatural pregnancy all at once. But she's going to pull it off. Dan, her boyfriend, is back briefly, and his death scene is pure Elm Street insanity. Motorcycle wires fuse into his skin, engine parts merge with flesh. It's body horror done right in 90s practical, well actually 89, we're almost there, practical magic. The new frame group is thinner this time, fewer characters, less development, but the kills are all tailored to their personalities. The artist getting swallowed into a comic book world, the swimmer trapped underwater with Freddy's demonic face chasing her, visually creative, even when the logic really makes no sense. And of course, Robert Englund once again is Freddy Krueger. This time, more sinister, less clownish than part 4. There is still humor here, but he's not the wisecracking TV star anymore. He is back to being mean, cruel, and disturbingly gleeful about it. The Dream Child is one of the most visually stylish entries in the entire series. Stephen Hopkins directed it, and you can tell that he was influenced by gothic horror, comic art, and surrealism. The lighting, set design, and even the dream transitions are very twisted and gorgeous. The nightmares here feel claustrophobic, almost like you're trapped in a Salvador Dali painting, and there's this reoccurring color palette of that blue, steel gray, and deep crimson that makes the whole movie feel like a fever dream. And honestly, that is what separates it from other slashers of the late 80s, because even when the story gets wild, the visuals and the craftsmanship keeps you watching. This film is diving into parenthood, legacy, and even trauma. They're all filtered through Freddy's twisted lens. Alice's pregnancy isn't just a plot device, it is a metaphor for generational fear. The sins of one generation, in this case, is Freddy's origin and his mother's tragedy. They are literally bleeding into the next. Freddy himself becomes a monstrous father figure, claiming that the child as his own, trying to raise it in nightmares. It's a perverse, fascinating evolution for a horror villain who started out as a symbol of child abuse and fear. And then there's Amanda Krueger, Freddy's mother, returning in ghostly form, trying to stop her son, trying to end the curse that she unwillingly gave birth to. It adds a weird spiritual layer to the series that's equal parts creepy and tragic. Now let's talk about those dream sequences, because the comic book death is easily one of the best in the series. The animation style, the black and white shading, the way Freddy bursts through the page like a demented superhero, it's very imaginative even if it looks dated now, but at the time, whew! I don't even know why I said that, like I was alive back then. Still, pretty great. The motorcycle scene I mentioned earlier is still one of the most unsettling kills in the franchise. It's really like Cronenberg meets MTV. You got those mechanical veins, screaming metal, and practical effects going to be showcased here. And the finale is very bizarre but visually wild. Alice is battling Freddy inside a dream cathedral. Here, her unborn child represented as a blonde boy trapped between life and death. It's more symbolic than scary, but it fits the movie's twisted fairy tale energy. Now, let's get into what worked and what really didn't work about this sequel. What works is the visuals, the atmosphere, and even the ambition. Hopkins gives this movie a haunting tone, far more artful than you'd expect from a fifth sequel in a franchise. And Lisa Wilcox anchors the emotional weight, and England's Freddy, once again, as it's going to be as always, feels dangerous. And what doesn't work, however, is the pacing. The script kind of feels like it's missing connective tissue, and the film jumps between dream worlds without fully explaining how, and character motivation sometimes kind of vanish mid-scene. Also, the MPAA notoriously cut a lot of gore here, so the kills kind of feel a little tame compared to earlier entries. Still, for every rough edge, the Dream Child swings for the fences creatively. It's a flawed nightmare, but a memorable one. The Dream Child didn't really perform great at the box office. Audiences were kind of burned out on Freddy by this point, and it definitely shows. But in hindsight, it's one of the more underrated entries, and it's got a lot of personality, artistry, and a willingness to try something new. This movie does mark the end of the classic Elm Street run. After this, the series would start to experiment even more with meta horror and satire. But the Dream Child stands as the last of the truly surreal installments where dreams still felt dangerous and unpredictable. So, A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child, is not as slick as Dream Master, not as iconic as Dream Warriors, but it's still one of the boldest and most visually creative slashers of its era. If you love horror that blends that art direction with nightmare logic, this one definitely deserves another look. And for Octoberfest, it's the perfect reminder that sometimes the dream world isn't necessarily about terror, it's about the weird beauty of it too. Thank you for tuning in to this Octoberfest horror review. We've tackled Freddy's resurrection, his reign, and now his twisted legacy through the Dream Child. Up next, we are closing the original saga with Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you've been enjoying this Octoberfest marathon, and if you're going to tune in tomorrow for that video, and let me know what is your favorite kill in the Dream Child. I'm partial to the comic book one myself, but all of them are actually really pretty great. Until next time, stay awake, stay alive, and remember, even babies can dream.
It's a boy!